So as far as the CCXP program is concerned, this distinction of it is that the CXPA is an independent body that has created and administers the certification program. And by doing so, we are able to raise the visibility of the credential itself. You know, there are vendors out there that have programs, Medallia, Forrester, other vendors that have programs. Um, but they may not be because they're not administered by an independent organization. Um, it's harder to um, make sure that the content that they give is reliable, that the exam process, if there is one, is able to be validated, et cetera. So you want to be very careful when you're looking for a certification. And sometimes they are only offering a certificate and not a certification, and there is a big difference there. Um, and then, so if you are going to consider a course, you just want to make sure that the person doing the training and the preparation holds the CCXP credential currently, and that they uphold the current competency framework. We can talk a little bit about more about that later, but our CXPA recognized training provider program lists these organizations, and these links will be provided to you after this session. Okay. So requirements. I get asked a lot about about requirements. Do people meet the requirements? The program is open to all qualified candidates. A qualified candidate is one that meets the education and experience requirements at the very baseline. Membership is not required to earn the certification. And prior to applying, you want to make sure that you have a hands-on foundation of CX knowledge, as you know, academics alone cannot prepare you for what you experience in the real world. So we have two pathways, our standard pathway and an alternate pathway. Our standard pathway is a post-secondary degree or global equivalent, and 3 years of full-time CX experience with responsibilities that include engagement and experience in each of the five core competency areas. And we'll take a look at those next. An alternate pathway, the difference here is that can have a high school diploma or global equivalent, um, and 5 years of work experience. So 3 years of CX experience, and then the 2 years of general work experience, which would make up for the post-secondary degree if you did not have one. Um, okay. So let's take a look at the framework. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is applicants asking, how do I know I'm ready for the exam or if I have the right experience? And so what we share with the potential applicants is that um, the best way to gauge their readiness is to do a self-assessment against the CXPA CX framework, um, so that you can figure out, where you are as far as your knowledge, skills, and ability. Um, so if you once you do that, then you know where you need to focus your studies, where you need to focus gaining more experience, etc. And then, as I mentioned before, if you are considering a course or a coach to help prepare you, again, make sure that they hold a current CCXP, and that they are following the CXPA CX framework. And again, we'll send links. You can find recognized training providers that have been reviewed. Their material has been reviewed by us and deemed uh, um, good to move forward with training individuals and organizations. So the CXPA CX framework is made up of five competency areas. So as you'll see on the screen, we have customer insights and understanding, customer experience strategy, metrics, measurements, and ROI, design, implementation, and innovation, and culture and accountability. The bold numbers are the percent of exam questions that you can expect for each one of these areas. And so that would add up to the 100 questions that are on the exam. So it's a random you'll take if you take the test one time, you might get one set of questions. If you take it again, you'll get a different set of questions, and that's for security reasons. So I just pulled out one of the core competency areas just to share. So again, you have customer experience strategy, 20% of exam questions. The top is just a description of what this particular competency is. In the middle, you have the job task that it includes, and at the bottom, the different knowledge, skill, and ability competencies that you should possess. So, if I were to take a look at this and assess my experience and what I need to learn more about, I've never created a CX strategy. So that's something that I would want to practice, hopefully in working with I know a lot of you are solo CX professionals. So, if you can find a mentor, find somebody else that has done that and you can work with them on creating a strategy, that would be great. All right. So the CCXP exam, once you've submitted your application and you've been approved, then you're ready to sit for the CCXP exam. Is a computer-based exam that can be taken either in person at a test center or via remote proctor. Um, the exam content, as we've talked about, is built around the core competency areas, the CXPA CX framework. And all of that is detailed on our website. So you'll be able to take a look at that. The exam itself consists of 100 items. All items are multiple choice with one correct answer. And the score needed to pass is 80. And this has been set by a standard setting committee that reviewed the exam, reviewed the uh, statistics on each of the items, and was able to determine that the score to pass is 80. The exam is 3 hours. So you have 3 hours in which to finish it. When you finish the exam, you'll receive your score and a printed or electronic pass-fail letter immediately after the exam. And currently, the exam is only offered in American English and Metropolitan French at this time. All right, so the certification process. It's pretty straightforward, should be pretty straightforward. We're going to be making some changes to our website to kind of help simplify the understanding of the process itself. Because we recognize that our website has a lot of information on it. But basically, you as a candidate, you would submit your application and pay your fee, and you can do that in any order. And then once we've received the full application and the fee, we send the application to the review committee. Um, and our timeline is to provide an update to you, the candidate, within 15 US business days. Um, Sometimes it might take a little bit longer, especially around holidays, because our reviewers are peer reviewers. So they are working CX professionals like yourself. And so they're doing this on their off time. So sometimes it might take a little longer. Um, Once you're approved, you are pre-registered into our exam scheduling database, at which point you can schedule your exam, like I said, at an in-person test center or via remote proctor. Once you've been pre-registered, you receive a registration. I'm sorry. Once you've scheduled your exam, you receive a registration receipt. And within that receipt is a link to your candidate admission letter. That's a very important document that you want to make sure that you read and print off. Especially if you're going to an in-person testing center, you'll need to have that document. For the remote proctor side, I would print it off. I'd rather have it printed off than not. And then if you don't need it, that's fine. You can put it away. But just sometimes we get proctors who they have their own standards different from what the organization has. And then you sit for the exam, and hopefully you're able to cross that finish line on the first attempt, and receive your results. But don't worry if you don't get a passing score on the first attempt. You have two more attempts within your 6 month testing window. Your test window starts the day your application is approved and ends 6 months later. I'm going to turn it over to Victor to talk a little bit about the pricing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adrienne. Yeah, in terms of the pricing, CXPA Africa last year negotiated with the push from James and the Kenyan leadership to say we need some sort of discounted prices to just enable more people to afford to be able to write the exams. And what we have now in terms of those fees is the 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 exam fee that is normally taken has been reduced. Let me just confirm. There is a page for CXPA Africa that actually gives how the discounted rate looks like. So you have 225 as a normal rate, and the Africa one is the one that you see here, which is 150 US dollars. In terms of the regular price for the package of membership and the exam, it was 720, and we negotiated that to bring it to 645. Then you have also the retesting fee that we have negotiated to make it 150. So there's substantial savings that we are fighting for to make sure that more people in Africa can afford to become global leaders in terms of CX. If there's any questions, or we can proceed.
Actually, Victor, what's even better about this is the 645. If you join the CXPA with the 150, you're actually going to get an additional 150 off that 645. So that's going to make your fee 495. And then your retesting fee, that's going to make it 198. So you do get another substantial savings off of those rates as well. Um, that's the end of my presentation. Those are other slides to answer some other questions when Lucy gets to those. So that's it.
Thank you, Adrienne. And on the chat, I have sent the link for membership for those from Africa. There's a special link. It's actually a hidden link, so you might not be able to find it on the website because of the reduced rate, but I've put it on the chat for every member who could be interested. And there's also the CCXP exam prep resources. I've put the link on the chat. And I think what I've heard from you, Adrienne, even as we wait to hear whether there are any specific questions, just a recap of what you've said is that one doesn't need to be a CXPA member to then sit the exam. You can sit for the exam without necessarily being a member. The other thing is that there are certified training providers to help you prepare for your exam. You have also talked about the eligibility pathway, that one doesn't even need to have a university degree for you to sit your CCXP exam. You know, if you have adequate work experience, then you can be able to still sit your exam. And I think also very, very important is the competency framework that has the 5 key areas of focus. And I would request that anyone planning to sit the exam, that you go through the handbook, because it has each of those 5 competencies well broken down. Remember the one Adrienne showed us on, for example, CX strategy, you know. So just being able to go through those 5 areas really helps you to prepare well in the 5 areas of CX competence according to the CXPA framework. Then she has also walked us through the application process where you apply and you pay the fees and you have to sort of do some write-ups that are then reviewed. I remember the first time I applied, I was giving one-liners to the responses and my application was rejected, you know, and I had to do a reapplication, and then I got the approval and was able to sit the exams. And the beauty about exams since the COVID season is that you can sit them online, but we do also have in Kenya at Computer Pride Summer on Kenyatta, and you can be able to go there and sit the exam in person physically. I remember several years ago, people used to have to travel all the way to the US to sit the CCXP exam. So I'm glad that people are able to then do that at the comfort of their home. You've also talked about the number of attempts that one, if you make the first attempt and you probably do not go through, you can still be able to make 2 other attempts, but within a period of 6 months. I think that is important, and it's 6 months from the point of approval. I think also very, very important is that there's a special rate for the African market that you can be able to access through going through the link that is specifically for CXPA here in Africa. And Kenya has really played a key role in being able to push through for that. I don't know if James has joined us this afternoon, but he was really one of the key proponents of Africa having a special rate, and especially because of the rates at which the dollar has been going up. So thank you so much, Adrienne. I want to see whether there are any questions. I know we had received some questions at the point of registration, and you have incorporated the answers to those questions, but I would like for now to pick up any questions that would be coming from those that are present with us. You can put the question on the chat, or you can just unmute yourself. You can raise your hand, and then we'll call you to unmute yourself, and you can be able to ask the question live. Any question that you may have regarding the CCXP certification journey, this is a time for you. And even as we wait for that, Victor, you could probably share with us, how was your journey, Victor?
Thank you very much for that question. My journey in CX, oh, sorry, off the screen. My journey in CX started around 2012. I used to work for a mining company, and 2012, when Fukushima happened, the commodity prices were going down. So I decided mining is going to be boring. I approached the biggest local bank, and I told them, I can fix your customer experience. Like, because I was frustrated by the service, kind of service they were delivering. And we worked through, and they created a position for me. I started working there in 2012. 2015, I established the first customer experience department. That time, I was not even certified. I was just like learning on my own. Then I started also trying to create a community around Namibia. Okay, it's gonna be a long story. So anyway, I ended up writing. The CCXP. I passed, and then I joined Timken Group. Bruce Timken, who's like the global customer experience guru, in a mentorship with Dr. Lucy. And that also enabled us to, I think she was already XMP, but that enabled me to also write the XMP, which is another kind of experience management certification. Okay, thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Victor. And those that have just joined us, Victor is joining us from Namibia, and he's the African Leadership Council lead for CXPA Africa. And I've seen a few questions. There's somebody who has said, I tried to make the application, I didn't get a discount. And I think what we are saying is that for you to get the discount, you need to use a special link So in case you did not get the link via chat and you intend to make the application, you can always side chat myself or James or Diana to get the link, because the link is a bit hidden from the website because it's not accessible to everyone. You'd need to have the link to then be able to get the discount. And I'll also side chat you and be able to figure out whether the discount can still be applicable. Then there are some other questions right there. We'll be able to go through them, even as I bring in Adrienne to respond to some of them. For membership, does one need to... No, you don't need to do the exam to be a member of CXPA. CXPA membership is open to all CX practitioners. Membership is open to all. And you also do not need to be a member for you to sit the exam. And I hope we can be able to differentiate those two. There's membership and then there's a certification. But when you're a member, you get a discount. You get a further discount for your exam. Then there's a question from Christine. Once you acquire the certification, how long does it last? Does it expire? Yes, it does. It's 2 years. I know there's a plan to have it for 3 years. Adrienne, you could be responding to that even as I look through a few other questions.
Yeah.
How long does it last?
Yeah. So as Lucy said, currently the cycle is 2 years from the date that you earn the certification, and then you must recertify at the end of that 2 years. As Lucy also mentioned, we are in the midst of making some changes, so we are extending that recertification cycle to 3 years. So now, if you earn the certification starting March 1st, then your recertification cycle will be 3 years from the date you earn it. And once that 3 years is up, you must recertify by submitting a minimum of 30 continuing education and professional leadership credits, as well as paying a recertification fee.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. There's another question around, does it matter what first degree you have? It doesn't really matter, but you need 3 years experience. That's the minimum. That's Catherine asking about 2 years experience. You need 3 years experience in customer experience for you to be eligible to sit the CCXP exam. Then yes, there was mention of Computer Pride. Computer Pride does not offer training. And when it comes to training, probably it's important for me to mention this, is that you can do self-study or you can go through the different training providers. And you've seen some of them, the likes of Chantal Bodha. We have had CX University. We had Clear to Action. We have so many, several training providers that are even listed on the CXPA website that you could partner with for you to prepare. Yeah. And of course, I know there are a few people who just go and sit the exam and they pass. And you can also look through the CX Book of Knowledge. There are people who've done that. They've gone through the CX Book of Knowledge, which is accessible for free for all the CXPA members. Then there's a question around clarify the fees and the discounts. Please talk about it slowly.
Sure, not a problem. Um, yeah, so Victor, and as you saw on the screen, let me see if let me go back a couple there. So you get individual membership. So membership in the CXPA, as Victor mentioned, our regular price is $225 a year. That gets you all of the benefits that Lucy has mentioned. So you get complimentary online access to all of our CXPA publications, which includes the Book of Knowledge. You get access to our mentorship program. You get access to our member-only resources. I mean, there's so much. And we can send you a link to the page that breaks all of that down. Now, if you become a member of the CXPA, then that's going to afford you discounts on pricing of our products. So our CCXP application fee, which formerly is called the CCXP exam fee, let's say that's $645. So when you pay that 150 membership fee, now you're also going to receive a $150 discount off of that 645. So that makes your total $495 for the application fee. And so what Victor was talking about, the 720, that was the price um of the 225 plus the 645. So now you're paying 150 plus 495 for the exam because you get the discount. So that's going to make your total $645. So um I know it seems weird because the numbers add up, but yeah, that's the way that works. So yeah, so that's the membership and the exam. Hopefully, hopefully that clarifies that. If it doesn't, just let me know.
And what I would like to do is actually to take us through the web link where one can be able to access that particular discount. So let me just share the screen. I hope you can see that on the screen. So there's the regular price for membership is 225, but if you go through CXPA Africa, then you get it at 150. The regular 1-year membership, and yes, there's a question around membership. Membership fee is paid every year. So the regular price is 720, but CXP, if you go through the link for CXP Africa, you get it at 645. And yes, you can even do the 2-year CXPA membership. But again, remember, you don't need to be a member for you to sit your CCXP exam. And let me see. Yeah, not quite ready to take the CCXP exam. Yeah, you can join as a member for 150. And when it comes to time for you to take the exam, all that you will need to pay is 495. Yeah, I didn't manage to get such discounts when I sat for CCXP, but I'm happy that now we do have those discounts for the African region. Then there's a question around, is a membership fee a one-off? I think we've said it's an annual fee, and you have to even go through a process for you to not only get your membership, but to get your recertification. Is that what we are calling recertification? Because even CCXP is not for life. Every 2 years, you have to put in your submission for you to get recertified, to just confirm that you're still in the CX profession. Is there any other question? Please clarify on membership discount for certification. Is it for CXPA body or ICX body? So the discount is for those in Africa. Yeah, you don't need to belong to ICX. You don't need to belong to CXPA. As long as you go through the link and you're from our continent, then you qualify for the discount. Is there anybody who has raised their hand that would like to ask any other question? Please, if you have any other question, feel free to ask. We still have about 3 more minutes for questions. So I did say earlier that you can sit the exam at the comfort of your home. Of course, you need a very strong internet, and you can also physically sit the exam at Computer Pride along Kenyatta Avenue in Nairobi. Is a certification on patient experience still done? So CXPA is not having any other certification program other than CCXP. And I think the person asking about patient experience, we may need to side chat. I think you're probably confusing this with CX University. Yeah, Stephania Kenyua, you can reach out to me and or James, and we can share a little bit more information about the patient experience program. Any other question? Or Adrienne, would you like to say something else?
Yeah, if there aren't any other questions, I would like the questions that came in prior to the meeting. I would love to address a couple of those. Okay. So one of the questions that we saw talked about how do you advance your career in CX? And so we look at this as 3 levels. So first starting where you are. So you're working in CX and you're gaining experience and knowledge. Um, so you want to make sure that you make good use of your networking time. So when you're meeting with other CX professionals, you're not only networking, but you're learning from them as well. And then you want to read to learn as much as you can, and then put that in practice. And so during this time of your career, your investment should be around 150 to $600 US. So when I did the exchange rate for the Kenyan shilling, hopefully I got that right. It was 24,525 to 98,100. And I know that with for Africa, anywhere in Africa, the exchange rate is it's so unbalanced. Then about mid-career, you want to make sure that you are participating in industry conferences. So you're getting out there, you're attending sessions, you're networking, you're meeting people, you're raising your visibility. Also during this time is when you should think about earning your CCXP. Um, so your investment at this level would be around 300 to 800 US, which I show is 49,000 to 130,000 in the Kenyan shilling. And then finally, thought leadership and executive development. So this is the third level that you're aiming for. And thought leadership is completed through speaking, serving as a judge for the awards, or even earning a higher education degree. Your investment at this point would be between 163,000 to 1,635,000. I had to read that like 5 times because I could not believe those numbers. Um, and of course, during your journey, you're going to need to build other strengths as well. And so again, while you're networking, you're learning, you know who you are, you'll understand what strengths you need to build. Um, the other thing that you want to do is look at the jobs that your colleagues hold, or those that you might want to hold. If you're going through the job board and you see an interesting job, um, do those individuals hold the certification, the CCXP, and not even just the CXP, but what other certifications do they hold? So you're gonna and use these job listings to figure out what skills, knowledge, and abilities you need to develop further. And then all last thing I'll add is if you're wondering if the CCXP and all of these other things are worth it, think about this. The CCXP at what, $150 membership plus the exam is less expensive than earning a college or university degree or even participating in other programs where the cost of those programs can run into the thousands of dollars just to earn a certification. So, put that in perspective. And then the last question I just want to address is there was a question about um, the failure rate of first time attempts. So we keep track of all of these statistics. And so I went back and I pulled everything together. And so you can see on the screen, in 2021, a total of 613 exams were given, both in person and remote. Of that, 360 people passed. Overall pass rate was just under 60%. In 2022, we fell slightly, but that seems to be the case across the world in different programs. And in 2023, it was back up slightly above 60%. Now that's the overall pass rate. Um, the first time pass rate, actually, in 2021, we weren't tracking it, so I don't have those numbers. But when you look at 2022 and 2023, those numbers, first time pass is actually significantly higher than the overall pass rate. So candidates taking the exam for the first time are actually doing quite well.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so and then those who to retake after, second or third retake, it's a little bit lower, but yeah, so I know that I'm assuming that this question comes about because, you probably hear from your colleagues who did not pass. And so it seems like there's a high rate of people not passing. But, as again, the numbers, when we look at the numbers, it actually says the opposite. So thank you for letting me address those questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Adrienne. And there's a question that relates to the retake of the exams. So once I sit the exam and I don't pass, do I need to pay any additional money within the 6 months that I need to retake it?
Yes. So there is a retake fee. So once you take the exam, if you don't get a passing score, you will receive so you'll immediately get your results, but then the next day you should receive an email from us at CCXP support, that will include a link to the retake fee, which, as mentioned earlier, is it's $348 if you are not a member. And it's $198 if you are a member, and you must pay that per retake.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And one of the advices that I often give to those I walk the journey with is prepare well enough, because if you prepare well enough, then there's a very high likelihood that you can take it first time and be able to get your 80% score, which is a pass mark. And there's a question around what has been my greatest benefit from being a certified CX professional. And I think for me, since I got into CXPA and I got my certification, the greatest benefit that I have accrued from that is getting connected to the rest of the world. And it has been very, very exciting, getting connected to Asia, getting connected to Europe, getting connected to America, and really building those connections with other CX professionals around the world that are pushing through the customer experience agenda. So, Adrienne, thank you so, so much once again. And just as we wrap up this session, as I was listening into you, as I was thinking about where we are at as a CX community, I'm reminded of three things. And one of them is that there is immense significance that comes from being a certified customer experience professional. It is not merely about the credentials. It is about a pledge to redefine the way we manage experiences. The other thing is that the CX certification goes beyond the skills. It's not about the 5 competencies. It's not about skills building. It's much more, and it represents the adoption of a customer-centric mindset, acknowledging the profound impact that positive experiences have on overall business success. And the third thing that I'm reminded is that being a CX professional really symbolizes dedication to relentless pursuit of customer satisfaction and customer loyalty, and an ongoing commitment to strive for excellence in everything that our businesses do. Excellence that even goes beyond customer experience to employee experience to operational experience. And as CX professionals, we must understand not just customer experience. We must understand business strategy. We need to understand culture. We need to understand people. We need to understand processes. We need to understand data. We need to understand technology. We need to understand finances. We need to understand branding. And we need to understand everything about business. And we invite you to walk on a journey to get your customer experience certification, global certification, because that will connect you to the rest of the world. That will connect Kenya to the rest of the world. And I would like to mention that it's very exciting that there's a lot that is happening in Kenya, and we are definitely at par with the rest of the world in terms of the quality of the customer experience conversations that are happening locally, and yeah, I believe that we are going to see a lot of customer experience professionals coming out of Kenya, going to the rest of Africa, going to the rest of the world, and driving the CX agenda in organizations that are in those other regions beyond Kenya. So just trying to see if there's still another question before I hand us over back to Lynette. Let me see. Adrienne, what's your final word? 30 seconds final word, and then I'll call up Victor if there's a final word, and then I'll be handing us back over to Lynette.
Yeah, We are here to help you. Our CCXP team is small and mighty. It consists of myself and then our program associate, Rachel Gates. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Um, Email is best for me. If ask any questions that you need to ask. If you feel like you need to do a Zoom or something, to gain better understanding, I could send you my link to book time on my calendar, but we're here to help you. So please use us as a resource to answer any of your questions.
Thank you. Be over prepared. Victor.
Okay, just a quick one from me. It's so exciting to see so many people showing interest in this. And I think maybe it's time we have this conversation about having the test in Swahili. And maybe it's a conversation that we need to start. But I think it will be interesting because we really need to localize and enable people to understand and make sure they can demonstrate what they are capable of doing and get ready for it. So thank you very much, everyone, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Let's connect on LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor. And still a few questions around the exam preparation resources. They're available. A lot of them are available on the CXPA website. I used a lot of those, but sometimes you want to also read widely and go through the handbook to see what areas you need to just have a deep understanding. And probably I also need to mention that if any of you has sat the US multiple choice exams, you know they are a bit different in terms of how they are set, and it helps you to understand the way the multiple choice questions are set, because sometimes it can be a bit tricky, and you need to get ready to go through the 100 multiple choice questions. About the CX Book of Knowledge, it's a great resource. It's available for free for all the CXPA members. You can just get it online. You can read it online. And yes, I know there are people who've just gone through that and they have been able to sit the CCXP exam and be able to pass with the first take. So with that, we are still available to take any questions. I'm still available for side chat and even for a call to just be able to walk through you through any of the information that we have shared, where you may need clarification. And thank you so much, Adrienne. Thank you so much, Victor. And now back to you, Lynette.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lucy and the CXPA community. Thank you, Adrienne, for your time and waking up so early to be able to catch us and share your knowledge with us. We really appreciate that. And Victor, thank you for the insightful things you've been able to tell us about your journey. We really appreciate that. I see James has raised his hand. James, if it's pressing, please go ahead and say hi to the people.
Hello, hi everyone. Mine actually was really to thank you, ICX. I truly also thank Dr. Lucy, Victor, and Adrienne. I really thank you so much for facilitating this and the journey to demystify CCXP as an exam and also CXPA as an organization. So thank you very much. I'm sure there'll be a lot of local engagement in terms of how then we could rally together. But mine was really to thank you for this facilitation and coordination through your great office. So we really appreciate that, and I'm truly thankful. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, James. And we will keep talking. We'll send you all the materials. Adrienne has promised to share the presentation, so we'll be able to share that with all of you and share contacts of both Lucy, Adrienne, and the team. So before you leave, we would kindly request that you give us feedback about this session, and it's also an opportunity to ask any further questions that you may have. Please scan the link. We'll also send the link on the chat. And then lastly, we have one announcement, and it's about our annual conference. our annual conference for 2024. It's happening in April from the, there we go, from the 18th to the 19th, and we're going to Mombasa City. We invite you, Adrienne, to please come, and Victor, you are welcome to join us and be part of this. We are going to the coast where we have beautiful beaches. It'll be at the Sarova White Sands Beach Resort, and we are just going to be looking and deep diving into elevating employee experience. It's the age of employee experience for customer experience, and we really want to see how do we impact and change how employees experience our organization so that we have an impact on customer experience and ensure that the customers are feeling the joy and the love and the passion and purpose that our organizations have. So please take advantage of this group. We have a group discount for early bird, 15,000 off for 5 people. So ensure that organizations, if you have 5 friends, 5 colleagues, come together and take advantage of the discount, and it's a limited offer, but it allows you to be able to come at a cheaper rate. So we welcome all of you. Please also look out for our calendar of events. We have trainings, webinars, study tours coming up, and many other things that are going to be coming up this year. We're excited to ensure that we are continuously improving our members, and so you can reach out to us. We also recently started our WhatsApp community. So please, if you're not part of it, reach out to myself or Angela, and we'll be able to add you to the community so that you're able to be part of us and interact with other members of our community. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time and we respect your time. We'd like to wish you a happy lunch and afternoon. Have an enjoyable morning, Adrienne, and thank you so much for being here. And Lucy as well, and Victor, James, thank you so much. We'll collaborate a little more. We can see there are many opportunities for us to collaborate. Maybe get an ICX discount. Yeah. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.